Hi folks, welcome to the weekend. The inaugural survey of our collective favourite science fiction novels now has 134 responses, which is a significant rise on last week, so thank you to all of you that have. I'm going to leave the survey open for one more week, but it will close for new responses at the end of day on Thursday, 14th of November. So if you haven't got round to entering your top 10 yet, then please do. I'll put the link in the description for this video and as a pinned comment so that you can find it easily. All right, what have I been reading this week? I finished Moving Target by Elizabeth Moon, which is the second book in the Vatta's War series. Kai Vatta is the daughter of a senior exec in the Vatta Family Corporation who are interstellar traders, and they're doing very nicely, thank you very much. But someone very powerful has it in for the Vatta family, and the book begins explosively. Let's just say that Kai is left as one of the few remaining Vattas and is herself at significant risk. So the book follows her as she and her crew dodge various attempts on her life. She is the moving target of the title. I enjoyed the first book, and in this book we've got more of the same smarts. She thinks 2 or 3 moves ahead, and she's continued to demonstrate superior leadership. She's calm under pressure. She relishes the fight, somewhat to her surprise, and she is very good at making alliances. And I'm enjoying her progress as she begins the process of rebuilding the Vatta Family Corporation and her own reputation. So it's a fun read. It's hardly groundbreaking, but if you enjoy Honor Harrington or the Vorkosigan saga, then I think this is a series that you might also enjoy. I've also read Natural History by Justina Robson. I finished that this morning, in fact. We are several hundred years in the future. There are basic humans, the so-called unevolved, and then there are the forged, who are gen-engineered or constructed even to meet the needs of environment and role. The forged are getting organised. They're busy agitating for succession from the Gaia Sol regime, ideally with a planet of their own. Voyager, Lone Star, Isol is one such forged. She's a human starship and she's on a long-range exploration. And she collides as she's doing that with a debris storm, which also contains a lump of stuff with a capital S, a physical 4-dimensional manifestation of some 11-dimensional geometry, which is pretty mind-blowing stuff. No pun intended. So this stuff adapts to wish. So Isol incorporates it into her body to become a new engine capable of instantaneous travel. And in the process of doing so, she finds or is lured to a planet which is now devoid of life, but exhibiting strange properties. Might this be a suitable home for the forged independence movement? This is the first of Justina Robson's books that I've read, but it won't be the last. There's some really fantastic descriptions of weird and wonderful forged beings, all human but in varying forms, some earthbound, some in space, some living in gas giants, some purpose-built or grown for terraforming or for space transport. Can an enormous forged space freighter retain its humanity? Is such a construct destined forever to be a space freighter? And is there free will in such an existence? Or are they merely constructed slaves for humanity? So Natural History is space opera, but it's kind of organic, biological, unusual and inventive. It reminded me of Mortal Remains by Christopher Evans and a little bit of Perdido Street Station by China Miéville, just in terms of the descriptions of the forged in their many forms. I enjoyed it, and there is a sequel, I think, Living Next Door to the God of Love, which I'm now super interested to read. I've made a good start on The Empire in Black and Gold, which is the first of the Shadows of the Apt books by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I've been listening to this on Spotify using my premium account, and that has a limit on the number of hours that you can listen to for free in a given month. And unfortunately, I've run out, and I'm about 2/3 of the way through. I could just finish it off using the actual book, but I think it can just wait until I can listen to it on audiobook later in the month. I've got higher priority books that I really want to read this month. Having run out of hours on my Spotify account, I was fishing around for what I could listen to for free in my Audible membership, and I came across this. Many Coloured Land by Julian, which I've been meaning to read for decades. I actually thought for quite a long time, until very recently, that it was fantasy rather than science fiction, but it's very much science fiction, even if it is on the lighter end of the spectrum. I have all 4 in the series on my shelves, and so I am nibbling away at my TBR, although this book was not on the list of books that I plan to read during November. I'm about 1/3 of the way in. I might finish it by next week, we'll see. Tell me, what have you been reading this week? Anything that you particularly recommend? Do let me know in the comments. It's always excellent to hear from you. Channel stuff next then. Subscribers are at 3,575, which is up 40 on last week. And if you're one of those 40, or if you've stumbled across my channel for the first time today, then a huge welcome to you. I'm John, and I focus on collecting and reading and waffling about science fiction books, old and new. Actually, while we're here, I forgot to mention before, I received a postcard from Bruce in Toronto, I think in Canada. He periodically sends me a postcard if he's enjoyed a particular video. And this one says, thank you for your recent videos on science fiction list books. I've bought both of the ones that you've mentioned. So that's the David Pringle 100 Best Novels and then the Broderick and DeFilippo 101 Best Novels, between them covering a period between 1949 and 2010. So that's 201 effectively best books from the last, I don't know, whatever it is, 70 odd years. 60 years. I've been gradually going through Stephen E. Andrews' 100 must-read science fiction novels and has now read over 30 of them. I don't actually have a copy of that myself. Maybe I should get one. Your videos are great. Keep it up. Goodbye for now. Cheers, Bruce from Toronto. Well, thank you very much, Bruce. It's always nice to receive appreciation, and even nicer to receive it in the form of a missive in the post. Thank you. Very nice. Comment of the week this week was from Gerard Hines in response to the survey. He keeps a spreadsheet to record what he's read and what he thought about them. And he's noticed a pattern where the previous read can affect the rating of the next one. I really appreciate a good spreadsheet. I use one myself to track various things related to my reading and collecting. Thank you to Gerard for taking the time to leave a comment, and to any of you that have done the same in the last week. I really appreciate it. Let's take a look at what was on the channel this week. On Sunday, there was a look at my reading during October. I went through each of the books in turn, giving my thoughts and a rating for each, and then ranked them mercilessly and ultimately declared a book of the month. Somewhat surprising book of the month. I enjoyed it much more than I thought I was going to. And then on Tuesday, there was the long-promised full library tour, which is rather epic. It's just over an hour and a quarter long. It's something you might want to break into bite-sized chunks. But I think if like me, you like a good nose around somebody else's bookshelves, then it's definitely the video for you. So knock yourselves out, maybe grab a cup of tea and some snacks before tackling it. On the book buying front, I've been pretty busy. There were a couple more Justina Robson books that have arrived, a couple of her earlier books. And I also received a care package, let's call it, from a viewer in the US, Eric. And that contains several very nice vintage science fiction books, plus a couple of other bits and pieces. And there are several other books that I've bought over the last week too, including a visit to the Oxfam bookshop in Woodley, which is my local used bookstore, charity bookshop. And it was a bumper haul from there. I would have videoed a bit of shelf browsing footage, but unfortunately there was somebody else in my little section, and we were competing for the same book. So I was too busy focused on elbowing my way in and grabbing books that he might want as well. In the event, he did leave after a while, but by that point I'd run out of time. So I just had to focus on book buying. There wasn't time for book videoing. But anyway, it was a very good one. I picked up about 15 vintage science fiction books, all in really nice condition, and some pretty important books in that set, but more on that in a haul video soon. Talking of haul videos, I actually had so many books on my to be hauled pile that I've recorded a bonus extra haul video which covers everything that I bought on my recent dealer visit to Bob's down in Dorset. But even so, my to be hauled pile still stands, including the books that I got today at the Oxfam bookshop, at 57. So I will definitely need to record a book haul video at some point soon. And so that will be coming within the next couple of weeks or so, I expect. What have I watched? Well, the honest truth is, on as far as BookTube goes, not a lot. I've been focused rather obsessively on the run-up and the immediate aftermath of the US election, which has been quite the spectator sport over the last few months. But as a result, I didn't watch much in the way of science fiction content this week at all. Let's take a little look ahead at what's coming on the channel. On Sunday, there will be that top 10 science fiction mysteries, and I have endeavoured to make that spoiler-free. I figure if it's a mystery, it's even more important to be spoiler-free than it might otherwise be. So I've tried to expunge any reference to elements which might give the game away. I don't know that I've done that perfectly, but I've tried more than I normally do in that video. On Tuesday, there will be that bonus book haul covering the books I bought down at Bob's, and that will contain some details of a viewer offer, an exclusive viewer offer for viewers of this channel only. So look out for that one. Longer range, I've started noodling away at my thoughts on the Ian Banks culture books, which I read recently. There will be the usual monthly book haul, as well as the extra one from Bob. And I will compile the results once they're completely finalised of our collective favourites, and that will be arriving at some point. And I also have some thoughts about the next thematic video. So that's the next kind of 2 or 3 weeks. Having finished natural history, the next thing I'm going to read is The Man in the Maze by Robert Silverberg. And I'll also make some more progress on that Julian May book, which I might finish. And when I finish Silverberg, it's only a couple of hundred pages. It shouldn't take me too long to get through. Then I'm going to pick up another slender book, Clifford Simak's Why Call Them Back from Heaven. And if I finish that, then I'll make a start on China Mountain Zhang, which I'm really looking forward to reading. As usual, thank you for watching. Have a fabulous weekend. And until next time, goodbye for now.